We're coming in hot with inspiring guests, witty banter, and colorful commentary for today's veterans and military community. This is the Tango Alpha Lima podcast.
They call me crazy cause I'm facing all my giants. They try to scare me into thinking I can fight it. They tell me I should never even think of trying. But that's just me, I'm gonna live out in defiance.
Buckle up, Alphas. We are back again with the Tango Alpha Lima experience. I want to start out by saying welcome home to all the Vietnam veterans out there, especially those in my post 43. I will buy the first two of you a drink the next time I see you at the bar, but just two, so get there early. Ash,
Hi.
Look at your digs.
My digs. You know what? I'm just living the high life as a military spouse in the middle of a military move where they say, yep, you can live on base. You're on the housing wait list. And then they say, yeah, but it's going to be probably 16 years before you can have a house. So I'm going to live in a residence inn for a while. And just living the dream here. It's scrambled eggs every morning and old toast.
Old toast. Okay. So they have running for you, right? An area where you can safely.
Safely is a good word for it. When I'm in hotels or I'm in strange areas, like when I travel, I usually do the bulk of my run on a treadmill. And then I will go outside and collect my trash just so I don't end up human trafficked. It's just one of my initiatives for this year. I don't want that to happen. So until I can get a good feel for the area. But there are nice places. So I'm in San Antonio and there's the Riverwalk. I've ran down the Riverwalk a good bit, but it was really busy. So you just end up throwing elbows, knocking people into the river. And I can only.
How's the river smelling these days?
People keep telling me it smells bad. It doesn't smell bad at all. Or I have completely lost my sense of smell. It smells great.
Or
no issues.
Or maybe it's like New York. It bubbles in the summer.
No, maybe. I don't know. It's pretty neat. I mean, when you look at how long it is and how how I like it. I want to swim in it. I saw a 2-year-old try to push his dad in the water. I thought that was hilarious. It's good times.
I don't think you want to swim in it though. That's
what my husband said. He said, no. I said, would you swim in it? He said, if we had to, and it was really up river. And I was just like, why? It's only dyed green, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. It's dead green, not dyed green. They do a little grammar correction there because all right. You know what? You're traveling, sorta. You're in between traveling and living, and the focus right now is on you. And I think we should probably get into this show and show that more people than me care about people like you.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get into that. I heard that there's a new VA mission statement that recognizes sacred commitment to all veterans, their families, caregivers, and survivors. Last week, Jeff, the Department of Veterans Affairs announced an updated version of its 1959 mission statement. The new mission statement is to fulfill President Lincoln's promise to care for those who have served in our nation's military and for their families, caregivers, and survivors. The new mission statement is inclusive of all those who have served in our nation's military, including women veterans, as well as veteran families, caregivers, and survivors. The VA currently serves more than 600,000 women veterans, the fastest growing cohort of veterans. I like that, cohort of veterans. The VA serves more than 50,000 veteran caregivers, more than 600,000 veteran survivors, and millions of veterans who did not serve in combat. In crafting the new mission statement, the VA surveyed roughly 30,000 veterans. Among veterans surveyed, the new version of the VA's mission statement was chosen over the current version by every age group, by men and by women, by LGBTQ plus veterans, and by white, Black, African American, Hispano, Latino, Asian, and American Indian, Alaska Native veterans. Everybody liked it. Whenever any veteran, family member, caregiver, or survivor walks by a VA facility, we want them to see in the mission statement on the outside. We want them to see themselves in the mission statement on the outside of the building, said VA Secretary Dennis McDonough. McDonough? Yeah. We are here to
got it.
serve all veterans, their families, caregivers, and survivors. And now our mission statement reflects exactly that. In addition to 2 rounds of surveys, the VA conducted dozens of small group engagements with veterans to understand what was most important to them in a VA mission statement, then incorporated that feedback into quantitative research. The new mission statement reflects that VA serves all of the heroes who have served our country, regardless of their race, gender, background, sexual orientation, religion, zip code, or identity. As a military spouse, I don't know my zip code, so I don't feel included. The previous mission statement was to fulfill President Lincoln's promise to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan. The previous mission statement is posted in roughly 50% of VA's facilities. Over the coming months, VA's new mission statement will replace the previous version. Jeff, thoughts?
I have a couple thoughts. I think probably what's 59 till today? How many years is that?
Oh,
Super
no.
producer Holly's going up there.
More than
she's
50.
about to pull out that calculator. I can't even. What are we
60.
in? 2023.
Yeah.
2023. Yeah, it's a lot of years. That's a long time to update your mission statement, but I'm glad they did it. But I guess the first one fit really well. My second observation is in the second paragraph of this, they list all of the people. 600,000 women, 50,000 caregivers, 600,000 veteran survivors, and millions of veterans who did not serve in combat. That's kind of a thing. 64 years is what super producer is saying. That kind of highlights a divide that I've been trying to battle a long time. I have a lot of members who say they don't feel as worthy because they didn't go to combat. And I would, if I had proofread this press release, I would have edited that portion out because
it's ridiculous. I'm with you.
I mean, I knew people who died that didn't go to combat,
right?
Technically combat, and people in the Cold War weren't technically in combat, well, because for a long time they weren't considered wartime. So I that makes me uncomfortable. But I do like the bold declaration of inclusion, which in a bureaucracy, to put this many words together that say we are boldly adopting inclusion, it was a masterful piece of navigating that system.
Here's something that I love about it is they go to such lengths to say, we asked everyone, don't complain about this. You see all the people we asked? Everyone unanimously said they wanted this. And it's so funny. They're like, don't come after us. I'm with you on the did not serve in combat thing. That's such a ridiculous side point. Were you in the military? But guess what? Then that counts. There's so many people that get worked up, like you were saying, but also there's people that like use it against other military members, which is a bunch of crap. Because guess what? You need those support functions in order for you to be in combat. Otherwise, you're just laying there. You can't be helped. Where are the people? Where's your support function to be able to get you to where you need to be? It doesn't all work unless everybody works together. When I saw this online, I went to the comments and saw the dumpster fire that was the comments, because as many people as the VA asked, they did not ask all of the people with no lives that post on Facebook comments angrily.
I could see the next sentence. All veterans who still live in their parents' basement, they're included too.
They were included. And of course, it was, of course, this is changing. We're all going woke. Like, guys, how many women are in the military? Are you out of your mind? Like, how many, like, what are you doing? Like, the people will fight against any change. That's such a big lesson in my own life. People will fight against anything that is any change because it's some sort of reflection upon them about how they're not doing any of the things that they want to do. What do you mean the VA is able to do something different? That makes me uncomfortable. Give me a Kit Kat. And They just need to get over themselves. Think about it. Think about why it would bother you to include female veterans. Why?
And
Like,
the VA's not woke. The VA doesn't choose who gets in and out of the military. The VA is just there to take care of whomever did go to the military. I don't care if they're I don't even care if they're from Ohio.
Right.
They get
And
taken
that's
care
big.
of.
That's huge.
That's right. We include even Buckeyes. Yes. Okay. I'm for this, obviously. I think it would be hilarious to try to double the size of this to actually include, 90% of the population, left-handed veterans, short, nearsighted veterans who didn't shoot
People who
too
don't
well,
cut their own toenails, like stuff
those who
like
failed the swim call the first time. Anybody.
people who cried during that test where they put you into the chamber.
The gas chamber?
Yeah.
Well, everybody cried. And everybody dropped snot. And
When I talked to my kid about that, he was just like, I was fine. I thought it was going to be way worse than it was. And I wanted it to be worse. And I was like, all right.
okay.
All right, buddy. What did I do to you?
Right. Well, I saw that video where you walked by the room, the smell.
Oh, yeah.
So he's been preparing for this his whole life.
His whole life. I would be willing. I've been trying to go to Army boot camp for a while, and they came close. I actually had conversations where they were willing to send me, and then they kind of went silent, and then they came back again. But I'd be willing to go in the thing to see to have them film me, see what it's like. Why not? The American Legion should send me to one of those those chambers so do all the stuff that everybody hates. Make me do it.
As long as I don't have to go with you, because
no, you can stand outside and point and laugh.
Been there, done that. Been there, done that. All right. Do we have anything else on this? We have kind of forgotten the spouse's part, which is kind of your passion, and you will be a veteran's spouse in the somewhat near future, right?
Well, yeah, and I guess when he's still in, he still counts as a veteran, right? As long as it's very complicated.
Yeah, I think I'm weirded out by that definition too. Veteran is
okay.
To me, I feel like that's a person who has served. Also, like in the Legion, we have this thing called the Past Commanders Club, and they hit you up like the second day that you've been a commander. Well, in the past, you were a commander. You're like, yesterday.
Donate.
Yeah, give me your money. Okay, alphas. But please, I'm going to do a little PSA. Super producer Holly wrote this copy. I'm just speaking it. If it's hilarious, I don't get any credit. Okay. What do you?
She's mouthing.
I don't know what she's saying. All right, but she is kind of channeling me with starting out with okay alphas. I mean that's kind of me, right?
Yeah, it sounds like that. I mean, that's what you say in your dreams.
I do. Wait. I'm not a comedian. All right. Okay, alphas, go to your closet. Pull out your Thanksgiving pants. You're going to need the extra room for all the laughing you are about to experience. Today we'll be joined not by one, but two other comedians. We forgot about Ashley.
So it's okay.
So we will be
joined. I'm included in the joined.
Yeah.
Okay.
Robin Phoenix Johnson and Doug Bennett. Robin is an Army veteran and comedian who performs and produces comedy all over the country. As president of her nonprofit organization, Hilarious, she combines the advocacy for comedy as a mental health and wellness strategy with helping veterans and military spouse comedians get performance opportunities, people like our own Ashley Gutermuth, who tours with Robin and the rest of the Best Medicine Brigade. Also, people like Doug Bennett, a Marine Corps veteran from Alexandria, Virginia, who is a stand-up comedian, actor, and host of the radio show Conversations with Comedians and the Nempathy show on Twitch, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm going to have to look that one up. The two of them plus the two of us, well, it's bound to be comedy chaos. Stick around and check it out right after the break.
By pulling out your cell phone and simply typing www.legion.org/action, you have at your fingertips our legislative priorities. With one press of a button, you can let your congressmen and your senators know what the American Legion wants to pass, and you can do it every single day. The power is in our hands. You just have to take the opportunity to use it.
Alphas, what I need you to do is prepare yourself. I need you to get ready, hydrate, get those electrolytes, because you're now about to get an ab workout from some funny people that you see on your screen. Doug and Robin, welcome to the Tango Alpha Lima experience. I'm really looking forward to this. We have an Army vet in Robin, and we have the Marine Corps vet in Doug, and Ashley is representing military adjacent Air Force. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And Robin, I want to start with you because I know the American Legion and you have an arrangement. I'm not quite sure what it is. Can you tell us about that and all of the hilarious information that you have to share with us?
Yes, the American Legion has generously sponsored Hilarious, which is a therapeutic humor program, and our tour, Operation Hilarious, which is a stand-up comedy competition. We are on the search for America's funniest veterans and military spouses, and it is just a big passion project for me. Hilarious was really built out of something where I realized comedy was so healing for mental health and just for psychological performance improvement. And I saw that it was working. And because American Legion's very passionate and also very active in suicide prevention and reduction, it really aligned. It just made a whole lot of sense for us to work together. So that is where that comes in. And of course, Doug is with us today. He's one of our comedians, and Ashley as well. So this is going to be a fun tour. 10 cities with the finale in Hollywood, California. At your post.
A finale where?
At your post 43.
At Hollywood Post 43.
Yes.
That was just a little PSA from me to the world.
A little PSA.
Greatest
Post.
What a shameless plug.
I do it.
I love it. I'm here for it.
I do it all the time. So now what's going to happen is I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm going to release this show, and any veiled attempt at sincere journalism, we're just going to throw all of that away. And I'm going to leave it to the comedians.
Oh my God. What are you doing?
I love
Ashley,
how nervous you are. You are an improviser. This is supposed to be your environment.
Yeah, but I'm also trying not to get canceled this soon in the year.
No, you're not. You know very well that it's our whole mission.
All right, I saw that Chris
year,
Rock
it will be
special.
the American
I saw that Chris Rock
Legion
special last night.
Tango Alpha
I know how
Lima
y'all are.
After
What? No. We live on the edge, buddy.
we live on the edge to the amount that our credit cards will allow. Welcome, everybody.
I'm right now at
Thank
about
you.
35.16.
That's right. That's done. Both of you, thank you so much for being here. First of all, I want to know, did you always want to do comedy? You went in the military, but before that, when you were a little kid, were you causing trouble? Were you making people laugh? Did you always want to be a comedian? Doug, go first.
Okay. Well, Ashley, that's kind of a deep story. One day, it actually happened like this. One day I was tending my father's sheep, and I was looking up into the mountain, and I saw this bush that was on fire, but the bush was not consumed. And I walked up to it, and he said, "I am, but you are a comedian." And from that day forward, I've been leading people to freedom through laughter.
I think that's powerful. Have you considered writing a book?
I've been rehearsing that all week long. Did it come out all right?
It was perfect. The heavens opened.
No, honestly, I used to get in trouble, so I never wanted to be a comedian. And then after a while, I couldn't honestly afford therapy sessions. So I was like, let me just go up here and tell my truth, so to speak. And that's pretty much what happened. And then every time I talk about my mother, she's like, I wasn't that bad, was I? And I'm like, Mom, if you have to ask that question, then it was yes.
It was bad. So this tour will actually be the raising money for Doug to go to actual therapy tour.
Please. Please.
Actually, but
$120 per minute is just a tad bit too much.
I'm gonna interrupt with seriousness for a second. Holly, could you put in the show notes the given hour episode that we did with Dr. Trina Clayu, who can connect Doug with a therapist as a veteran for free
in his local
Really?
area.
Yes.
Look at that.
How do you pronounce her last name again?
Clayu. It's like it's a French thing. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, and she's a friend of mine.
You're a Marine? You're a Marine?
Yeah.
You're probably not saying it right.
No,
Okay.
no.
Oh my God. The trash talk has started.
I've only heard it. I mean, I haven't heard it. I've only attempted to read it, and you know how we are. So,
Well, I'm glad that Doug came here for resources.
He said, I haven't heard it. I've only read it.
yeah, and we don't read very well. So Clayoaks, but I
Wow.
think it's Clayu.
Ashley,
It's
next
hard to
question. Next question, Ashley. Next question.
Tell you what, it's hard
Jeff
for
is really
Jeff.
making us look bad.
Yeah, you know what? It's well. All right, Robin, what's your answer to that? How did you always want to be a comedian?
Well, mine's not a chapter out of Exodus like some people's.
Right.
It does have a little to do with my mom. When I would I'd sneak down the steps at night when she would be watching the Tonight Show, and I used to sit at the bottom of the steps trying to listen to the monologue, to Johnny Carson's monologue. And for the longest time, I just thought I was doing it because I was being rebellious and wanted to stay up late, and I liked to listen to Johnny Carson. What I realized is that my mom was very young when she had me. We had, not a rough life, but she worked her tail off, and I didn't see her laugh much. I didn't see her even smile much. And I actually realized that I enjoyed hearing her laugh. And I would peek through the little door at the bottom of the stairs, and I would see her just shake with laughter. And I just remember thinking that I was really happy that she had that time for herself at the end of the day for that. And so then I just started to try to make her laugh all the time. And it became my mission to make her laugh throughout the day. So I kind of just grew up being silly and trying to be funny. Of course, she didn't think I was that funny and told me to join the army. So I ended up in the army instead. And so, yeah, that's really how that evolved. And to this day, I think it's very healing and therapeutic, and it can help, reframe your mind on your problems, make you feel more in control. And so I want to keep doing it.
Yeah, to me, what is the point? Why do we do things just to be sad? I don't understand why people do things like they watch scary movies. I don't get it. I don't want to purposely be scared. I don't want to purposely feel sad. There's a quote that David Sedaris uses in his masterclass where he talks about how he gets to write all of the terrible things that have happened in his life and give them a funny bent, which he feels sorry for all the people that don't have that skill or don't want to pursue that, because it means bad things just happen to them and no good comes out of it. And that really stuck with me, because you
said you don't understand why people want to purposely be sad.
Yes.
Then
You want to be
obviously
sad?
You and your spouse have never gotten into a fight before.
No, wait a minute. There's a
What-
difference between me trying to manipulate someone else's feelings so they're sad
Okay. Thank you. All right. 'Cause
in
I was
order
about
to
say, I'm
win.
like,
Yeah, that's totally different. I don't want to make myself sad. What am I doing?
oh,
I don't
Go
mean to
have
be.
a hamburger.
I don't mean to be philosophical, but if
Lord.
there was no sad, would there be funny?
Yes,
Would
Jeff.
it exist?
Don't, goodness, you're so LA.
Really, Plato, really, Plato. If there's no up, there's no down.
He didn't say Plato, by the way. He called me
He said
Plato.
Plato.
Thanks for
That's
calling
what
me
I
Plato.
heard. That's what every Marine thinks.
Thank you for catching the alliteration. If you can't say Claro right, but you can hear Plato right. So I just want to make sure.
I didn't know we'd be
gosh.
talking about alliteration today. That's good. We were really running the gamut.
So, Ashley, you're going to answer your own question?
My own, why did I always want to be a comedian?
Yeah.
Yes. From when I was really little, always wanted to be a comedian. Didn't quite know how to do it. But it caused a lot of trouble. Always tried to make people laugh. I listened to other, like I would go to work with my parents. If I wasn't at school, I was going to work with them, and we would listen to comedy in the car all the time. I watched a ton of British comedy, and was full on like angry that I wasn't doing comedy. Like, and I'm also and my husband will say this, if I haven't performed in a few days, I get real like zippy. I'll start to roast him, and he's just like, "You need to get somebody else to listen to you. Go find an audience," because it just amps up. You know, it has to come out somewhere, and it's whoever's around gets roasted.
Your videos, Ashley, about what it's like being a spouse, transferring from house to house or base to base, that joint has me dying. Because I can remember my staff and COs talking just like that when they get there. Like, man, my wife, I was like, bro, you are bugging. Like, you're bugging. And then when I see those videos, I say, Lord have mercy. If she is not a voice to the voiceless.
I'm glad you like it. Oh, man, I'm trying.
Well, I do have a question for all three of you. You can go in any order you'd like. Since you're all military family, and we all know, we've heard it's the suck and all the crap that we put up with when we were in, and they also say that comedy comes from pain. How did your military experience translate into your comedy careers?
Well, you said it doesn't matter which order we go in.
Correct. You can go first.
Well, since it's not February, I'll go last.
Okay. It's March. It's March. So it's
March. So it's
Women's History Month.
They gotta go first.
And it's literally National Day of the Woman.
Oh my God.
It is.
All 365 days aren't that.
Okay, where are my presents, Doug?
You told me you don't celebrate
go
holidays on this very program.
I don't celebrate holidays.
So there you go.
She'll fudge it. She'll fudge it if she needs it.
Send me some fudge.
As your
That's what I
mess.
want.
Well, it will. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they're going to air this after, right? So
Yeah, it's after.
sometime, but still in Women's History Month. So I'll go first on that one then. Okay, because I'm the oldest woman. Ashley's younger, so age before beauty. You know what they say? They say that they're like, well, how do you get so funny? And this isn't my saying, but there was something out there that said, oh, it's just like how I get all the volume in my hair. It's all the damage. So yeah, I do think that there's a source of material coming from pain, trauma, all those things. But I also just everyday observational life. It doesn't have to necessarily be a bad situation or painful to make a joke out of it. You can take something just very ordinary. Like I just got hair extensions. I know, so surprised. They look real, right? I just got hair extensions, and that's not a bad thing or a painful thing. But I made up a little joke in my head about. I was like, "Oh, like this is actually somebody else's real human hair. Like I should get a Carfax sheet on this. Like I want to know, were they a smoker? How many perms did they have? Like, are they a serial killer? Because this is DNA. Like I'm now carrying around their DNA. I don't want to get accused of a murder." So there's lots of like fun things just in your everyday life.
So on that note, I would say if you saw it on a counter, just one strand, it would freak you the F out. Like that's so disgusting. But they weave a bunch of it in on your head and it's okay. All right, Doug, you have to wait.
Jeff, before we proceed, I've been Black predominantly my entire life. You should know not to comment on a woman's hair. That's her hair. If she has a receipt and a barcode, that's her hair. I'm not commenting on her hair. Robin, your hair looks beautiful.
That's what they say. If you bought it, it's yours or something like that. It still grosses me out a little bit because I didn't know when I ordered it from the salon. Like they asked me, like, tell me. I thought it was gonna be like synthetic, like a wig or something. I didn't. Like it didn't hit me until I saw it, and I was like, I wonder who this person was.
Well, at least you ordered yours from a salon. The last woman I dated ordered this on Amazon.
The Amazon or Amazon.com?
I'm too bougie.
She got the Amazon Prime.
That's funny.
What was it feels like 4 hours ago that we asked the question. What was it, Jeff? It was
your military experience.
No, the pain thing. The pain. And
yours is pretty obvious.
Everybody wants to know about the pain. My pain is on display every day. Comedy doesn't have to, like Robin said, comedy doesn't have to be all sadness. But here's the thing. If you talk to me for more than 15 minutes, I have no ability to hide anything that's ever happened to me in my life and talk about it as though it's completely normal. And most of it is like horrifying. But then you start to share that and you find that everybody, like Jeff, when Jeff and I first met, we were doing videos for the podcast, and I would try to make him laugh by whispering true stories from my childhood into his ear, and he would just be like, that wasn't true, and I'm like, no, totally true.
And I was being serious. I was like, that cannot be true.
It was totally, that's all true. But I don't take any of the things that have happened to me and go, oh my God, feel bad for me. I think, oh my God, thank God that happened. Now I can talk about it because it can be super funny. But I have a messed up brain. I'm not looking for a normal life. I'm looking for an interesting, unique life. Okay. I went and got hair extensions today too. They look great. But
no, I bought your hair.
You bought my hair. So definitely, but you can still do things that are just fun things that have happened. It's all about your perspective and how you want to handle it. How do you want to interpret it? I love stoicism, and it's all about, somebody can insult you. It doesn't matter. It's all about how you take it and how you interpret it within you. They haven't actually done anything to you. So you can have all these bad things happen, and then that becomes fuel for something more interesting and powerful.
I don't want to jump ahead of Doug, but that's exactly why we've created Hilarious. It doesn't make you weird or unique that you do that. It actually makes you powerful. That means your psychological performance, your ability to cognitively restructure, reframe something that would normally bring you stress and trauma is strong. Like, it's like lifting weights, but for your brain. And it really does help. And I think that's why the American Legion and us were like partnered, because it's really going to help reduce suicide, depression. It's just not a lot of people are doing it, right? A lot of people have always just thought, oh, laughter is the best medicine. It's just so cliche. But what if it really is? What if it really does have a way to make an impact like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Doug, you got to follow that.
Follow that, Doug. Follow that.
Two things. One, what Robin said was so profound and so apropos in a world of pain and everything, being able to use laughter and being hilarious. I think that was a great point. And secondly, I love how people say they're not going to do something in the process of doing what it is they say they're not going to do. Robin definitely said, I don't mean to jump in front of Doug, but proceeded to jump in front of Doug and continue to speak. Thank you. Just wanted to bring those points up, not like I was clocking anything.
Excellent points. They're noted in the show notes.
Yeah.
Thank you. When it comes to comedy, I think the thing for me that is so appealing to comedy is the way you can affect somebody's mood. Like, I love making people laugh, but I love making people laugh with everyday stuff. Like, like perfect example. When your woman being a man, and every man who's been in a relationship has had their woman ask them this one question: how do I look in this? And you can either proceed to say something, which she will dissect that answer, or you could proceed not to say something and she will dissect your silence. So it's pretty much one of those things where it's like, when you sit there and answer, like my woman asked me that the other day, she's like, how do I look in this? I'm like, baby, you look fine. Just fine. Usually I would look good, but all I look is fine. I'm like, well, baby, you look good. Well, you're just saying that just to say it. So I'm going to go change. While she's in there changing, I'm thinking to myself, is she about to put the same body in a different pair of clothes? Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get, and it's just the little nuances of life that continue to happen. And you think, and it's like, you think you're the only one going through it. And then you find out other people go through it too. Like Robin with the hair thing. I am positive somebody else thought that too. Like, I'm putting somebody else's hair in my head, and that's normal. So I believe comedy is a way to be able to really and truly blur lines in the sense of getting past our differences, because everyone focuses more on differences than they do on similarities. And that's the reason why we constantly have these seismic shifts in disparity, because everybody wants to focus on differences instead of focus on what makes us alike. So that's the reason why I like comedy.
Well, you guys are philosophical. And by the way, Doug, the right answer is, baby, you always look like you.
Oh God, Jeff, no,
And
that's
you're
terrible.
amazing.
Hell no, man. Yo, bro, have you ever been in a relationship? Like,
I've been
that's
in
some of the
many.
stuff that
I've
you
been in many
saying.
3-day relationships.
Oh my
In
God.
a 3-day relationship, man.
What?
Jesus was in the tomb longer than that. Like, what are you talking about, bruh?
You have to have an
Oh,
escape.
no.
You have to have an escape plan.
Yeah, that would not go over
yeah,
well.
yeah.
I don't even
That-
ask my husband anymore. I don't even ask. I ask my daughter because she's brutally honest. And if
You're
she,
beautiful.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Ain't no man stupid enough. What man can be honest with a woman? Raise your hand. Don't worry. That's because you single. Ain't no man on here honest with a woman. Are you kidding me? I tell her what she want to hear. Baby, you are the light of my life, the apple of my eye. My world.
Look at that. I just
revolves.
fell in love with Doug.
Which is basically the same thing as saying you're always beautiful.
No, you said you're always you. What if she's always ugly?
Yeah.
Then that
Because you
means
interrupted
reinforce
in-
her ugliness.
You
That's an
interrupted me
out.
mid-sentence. I said you always look like you, and you are beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh man, I'll tell you the relationship I have with my lovely husband. He likes to say things like this. He goes, "You are the most wonderful person in this room." And
And
you're
y'all-
just like,
that's Mr. Guthrie, yeah, that was beautiful, man. That was awesome. I need to write that down. Where a pen?
So a
is?
close second? Isn't that
Close
the right
second.
answer?
No,
Ah.
you're about as close to second as Jupiter is from Uranus.
which is pretty far.
Yeah.
All
In
right.
case you don't know space. I
It's a
think
very educational show.
this is very educational. Yeah, I have this therapy idea that has been rolling around in my head. And maybe I haven't copyrighted it yet, but maybe this is it. This is how you copyright something. We have all the the way that the world is now. I feel like there's a lot of like lovey-dovey, let's hug it out kind of therapy, right? And we're talking about how humor is healing, and I'm often told like the way that people joke in the military is not appropriate. You know, the way that they razz one another or harass each other, and how that isn't helpful. I think that we need to stop taking everybody and putting them all into one box. And maybe we can all just like raise our hands and be like, hey, I'm up to be on the side of therapy that is tough love, being roasted. I want to be a part of that group. And then we have another group that's like, I don't want any of that. That doesn't actually work for me. What I do want is to be able to tell my feelings and all of that. And then they get to go have different types of therapy. But I don't think that we should discount the making fun of one another, calling people out, and you know, that kind of thing. Because if you come to me and you're like, all I want you to do is just hug me for 20 minutes and tell me and cry, and I'll be like, I will probably murder you. It's not going to happen. Like, that's really weird. Why are you such a weirdo? But for other people, that might work. But if you're like, you start like making fun of me, and we can go back and forth, that's going to be way better for me than any amount of crying. God,
I agree. Crying is so
Thank you.
overrated.
it is overrated.
It really is. And it's not even healthy because it dehydrates you.
That's a good point. Gatorade tears. That's what we need.
Jack Daniel's tears.
Jack Daniel's tears.
Nothing like Jack Daniel's tears. Amen.
Actually, I've seen people come up to you and request hugs.
I
Your
know.
legions of not American Legion.
People have gone up to Ashley and requested hugs,
Oh my God, she's a celebrity in the veteran
Mhm.
space.
Yeah.
but they've requested hugs.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
That woman. I had to act
Oh.
like security.
You go ahead. You can tell them what happened.
You.
Somebody told Jeff that they worked for Angelina Jolie and they were more excited to talk to me. And it really
And then asked her if they could hug her.
I'd be like, go
Now
and
he-
ask Angelina.
go to Brad
Yeah, see what happens.
Brad Pitt.
Wow.
I don't mind. I do not initiate hugs because I don't know what the other person wants. If somebody initiates a hug with me,
A
I'm
hug,
totally
Ashley. They want a
I'm totally
hug.
good with it. I didn't grow up with it, Doug.
She
Oh,
said, I don't initiate hugs because I don't know what they want. They want a hug, Ashley. Like, it's pretty self-explanatory. They want a hug.
I don't want to invade their space, man. The routes that we could go on that I feel like the American Legion would not appreciate. Okay, I'm going to reel myself in. But I don't do it. But if somebody comes up to me and they want to hug, I don't mind. I don't mind at all. You know what else I would also like? If people came up to me and they wanted to arm wrestle, that would be good too. Why does nobody do that? That's feats of strength.
If I'm not touching nobody's hand.
You don't touch their hand. You touch what? You would touch their back.
He's a fist.
How often are they watching their back?
I'm a pounder.
It's covered.
I mean, whoa, wait a minute. This isn't recorded, is it?
Oh
no.
Okay, because I said I'm a pounder. Wait, I mean, I give fist bumps. That's what I mean. I mean, like that.
Wait,
that's what your nickname is, quarter pounder with cheese.
Doug the Pounder coming up to the stage, ladies and gentlemen.
So do you guys tour together? Are you going to be on this whole tour together, all three of you?
No. So Doug is our feature act for Columbus. And but he is going with Ashley and I to Orlando in June, and he does perform with us as part of the Best Medicine Brigade off and on throughout the year. So we're a group. Best Medicine Brigade is a group of comedians. All of them are veterans and military spouses, and depending on the client that we're supporting, we figure out who's the best fit for that audience. So we kind of rotate out talent because we want everybody to get their voices heard. I love that it's a way for more veteran and military spouse comedians to get stage time and to tell their stories through comedy, because it's so hard. It's the hardest entertainment industry to be in. So it's just, we're trying to give them more opportunities to get out there.
You said Columbus, right, Robin?
Columbus, Ohio, April 1st at the National Veterans Memorial and Museum. It is a beautiful venue. It felt appropriate to kick it off there. One, it's on April 1st, which is April Fool's Day, and the launch of April is National Humor Month. And of course, how iconic to do it at the museum there. And then I'm from Ohio. I'm a Buckeye, so it's my hometown. This has been 3 years in the making, and I felt like I needed to start home. I know you're from Michigan.
Hashtag go blue.
Hashtag.
Yeah, I was about to buy me a Michigan. I'm not even a
twice if it's a long ways to Michigan.
Sweatshirt. I'm buying a Wolverine sweatshirt, and I'm gonna tell my jokes.
You're not gonna wear it on stage, are you?
Yes, I am. I'm a Marine. I ain't all there.
You are not wearing 1 ounce of Wolverine clothing on my stage as a producer. I'm gonna tell you that straight up.
Straight up. Well, I grew up in Pittsburgh, guys, so I don't even know if any of these states exist.
That speaks to the education of.
Nice. Look at that. Now you're in.
All right, so Doug and Robin, now Robin will be there and Ashley will be there. Are you coming to the November? Will he be at the November show?
He is not in the November show. Whether or not he comes out there, I don't know. That's up to Doug. We're working on a couple other things with some folks out in LA to do some shows around that show, like while we're in the area. So Doug may be a part of one of those shows.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking at doing some, because LA's big, so we could do a show in Hollywood and a show in Long Beach the next night, and it's a whole thing.
I have a bad memory of Hollywood. Hollywood wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I went to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and there was just one star I wanted to see, and that was Michael Jackson. And this homeless person was laying on it, and he refused to move unless I gave him my last sandwich.
Are you sure you weren't at a Planet Hollywood?
No, no, it was. So I said, Michael Jackson or hunger. And I chose hunger. And what made it so bad is he took the sandwich and still didn't move. He invited 2 of his friends around and split it 3 ways.
I like that you said your last sandwich, which implies you were just walking around with like 12 sandwiches.
It was my last sandwich. I was so hungry. Right? I was so hungry. And he took my sandwich and split it 3 ways, and him and his homeboys like sat in this little circle and ate it. But they made enough room for me to at least take a picture. So if I ever show you that picture, Ashley, you'll see like 6 feet. It was the homeless people.
Okay.
And you're upset that you were able to feed 3 people.
No, I was upset that picture cost me my sandwich. Don't try to turn this around, Jeff.
Oh, we just
Michael
thought you were going back in
the world.
The fish and the loaves, the biblical story. We thought we were going back to like the burning.
Yeah. Bringing it full circle.
Story a day.
Yeah, from Exodus to what, Matthew? I think that's it.
But that burning bush story is real, though. I didn't say it was my story.
I'm excited for Doug to come back to Ohio. So true story. We had Doug come to Ohio for a show, last summer or something. And I don't know that you'd ever been to Ohio, but he came back to my very small town, which is a farm town, and got to drive a tractor. What else did you do, Doug? It was hilarious.
I milked cows. One
What?
cow actually stuck my finger. But no, it did. I was totally like, I picked eggs. Like I did farm stuff.
Eggs.
He
Picked
picked
eggs.
eggs.
You got those egg trees in Ohio, Robin.
I picked eggs. Like,
Yeah.
and I didn't know that you're not allowed to run on farms.
Wait,
Like
what?
I didn't know that. You don't run on farms, you mosey.
You should have seen it. It was so funny. I mean,
You
Doug is a
both-
city boy through and through, and he was like, "You have
This-
like this." And my sister served him milk straight from the cow that morning. for
Yeah,
breakfast.
like wow, this is such a unique form
Wait,
of,
how was that,
of
by the
vitamin
way?
D. Like it wasn't. I don't even think it was. Was it pasteurized? All I know
No.
is whatever she had, it didn't have a red nor a blue top on it.
No,
I
it just
didn't know what
passed
type of
the
milk
other.
It was.
Just in glass.
It
Fresh.
was. It was just in glass. It was straight up. And I asked. I was like, "Is this whole milk?" She was like, "What?" I was like,
As whole
"You
as
know."
it gets.
But I want to go back. I want to get a farm. I want to buy a farm. When I make it big, I'm going to buy a farm in the middle of nowhere and just stay there, milking cows and picking eggs.
And
Picking eggs off the egg tree.
Yes. What? Oh, excuse me, Ashley, Steel City person. Excuse me for not being a city person like you.
She's getting the dose though. She's going to come back to the farm on April 2nd after our show in Columbus.
Are you serious? Oh,
Yeah.
she'll love it. Drive a tractor while you're out there. You know they have tractor races, Ashley.
I'll do it. I'm gonna end up dead, but it's a good way to go.
All right, so Hilarious is making people laugh even in Columbus. And I have to repeat hashtag go blue. And Robin, you're gonna sprain your eyes if you roll them that high.
Probably.
You know the funny and I'm waiting for her to go OH.
I was going to do it at the end. IO.
And then because that's the entrance requirement to get into the Ohio State University.
Dear God in heaven, why did they call it the Ohio State like there's another one?
Arrogance.
That's
That's
like
it.
that's like me introducing myself. I'm the Douglas Bennett, as if there's another.
You should do that
No.
in Columbus, and they would probably go,
You wouldn't introduce yourself as that. You'd introduce yourself as the pounder.
"Oh,
That's-
the pounder." So, Robin, I'm going to get back to you. Tell us about how people can support the nonprofit Hilarious, the business side of this.
Yes, we accept donations, of course, like any 501c3 nonprofit, which you can do at hilarious.org. But really, honestly, the real practical way is to come out to this tour, come out and buy a ticket to see and support these veterans and military spouses that are going to compete for this contest. And that would be the best way. Of course, we'll have merch. We'll have these awesome t-shirts. Those are always really practical ways, and you get something back for it as well. So those are the most simple, and just share it. We have closed the auditions for Columbus and the Arlington, Virginia, but there are still 8 more stops along the way. So we are stopping in Tacoma, Washington, and in, I'm just looking at my notes here, San Antonio, Texas, Fayetteville, North Carolina, Fort Hood, Texas, Virginia Beach, Colorado Springs, San Diego, and Jacksonville. And then the top or first place person from each of those goes on to Hollywood November 4th. So there's still 8 cities that they can audition for before the finale. And it's there's rolling deadlines based on the date of the show.
That was very professional. I love that. Don't mention my name in Fort Hood. We make fun of them constantly, all the time.
Yeah, Killeen, Texas. I shouldn't say Fort Hood because we're actually not going to do it on post. We're going to be doing it off post in Killeen, but
You can. It's dangerous. You can't
we're
do
doing it at the American Legion there. Actually, some of those locations are in comedy. So we got the one in the museum. Some are in comedy clubs, but there are 3 at least that are at American Legion. So the San Antonio Alamo post too is going to be July 15th. And we're also doing the American Legion in Killeen, Texas. I think it's post 223. And then of course the Hollywood one for the finale. So yeah, We're loving
You gotta shout out
sponsorship.
the 166.
Oh, that's my home one in Goose Creek. Yeah. That I have a show there Saturday. Or no, Friday. This Friday in
Like
Goose
I'm
Creek.
part of a gang.
Yeah. It's
Wait,
a
are you part of a
now.
gang? Which American Legion
What
post are
sex you
in?
claim? The 116.
166.
Yeah, Goose Creek.
I'm set 227.
It's all about 43 though.
You really are represented like you in the gang.
He's the post command.
Like it's all about that 4-3.
It's all about that 43.
Get up in a, I ain't gonna call it a crip walk. Get up and vet walk. Get up and vet walk. That's when you hold your back and lean over.
Right?
They hold your back and lean over.
And then tapping that tinnitus.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Tinnitus, plug in your sleep apnea machine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how we do. So, what do you guys want to do now? Do you want to? You can't give it away. You can't give away your comedy for free. I know. But what message do you want to put out there to the people who are auditioning? What would give them the edge?
Yep. It's got to be the whole story, the whole package. Like think of American Idol. I mean, America votes for people who are obviously talented, but they also have their backstory. Are they a good person? You know, what's that look like? I think that is what I would say is like the biggest part of it, because this is more than just being funny. You got to have some depth to yourself and confidence. You know, we get all kinds of auditions. We get people who just started comedy, maybe even never even performed, to people who are nationally touring headliners. So there's a lot of disparity and levels of experience and who could, but I would say like, bring a strong 5 minutes. And it's hard to work clean. Our shows are PG, content restricted. So we like to keep it clean for these purposes. And that's tough. A lot of comics can't work clean. So if you can deliver 5 solid minutes of just punches and really hit the audience hard, that's it. That's how you win stuff like this.
Right. And you're finding people who have never done comedy can do
We've
5
had
minutes?
auditions. Yeah.
They can do 5 minutes?
Well, I didn't say it was a good 5 minutes. I mean, my husband can sometimes do 5 minutes and it's not great.
Hey, that's TMI. That is
kidding. Yeah, no, there's people who audition and guess what? That's okay. Like just be brave and go for it. The worst is we could say no. The worst is you get a rep in and practice. And yeah.
Right. So Doug, how was your first day at comedy?
My first day?
First day on stage, first mic.
Oh, okay. Good. I didn't know I had the audition. My first day on comedy actually was kind of dope because I really and truly only did it because I had lost a bet. Honestly, I was in a pizza parlor and a woman I was dating then. She was like, you need to try comedy. And I was like, no, I don't. And she was like, yeah, you do. You make everybody laugh. And she was like, okay, I'll make a bet with you. If you do comedy and you go to an open mic and you do good, you have to pursue it. If you don't, I'll never talk about it again. So the one opportunity I had to shut a woman up, I failed at it. So I had to make sure that I was successful. So I'll never forget the first day I did it. I was in Bethesda, Maryland, and it was actually the day of John McCain's funeral. And my entire 5-minute bit would be about what it would be like at Donald Trump's funeral. And I thought it would probably be the most packed funeral ever because everybody was just there with their own little quips and stuff like that. And I said, back in the day when he was in collusion, quote unquote, with Russia, I said that Vladimir Putin would be singing "I Will Always Love You" as his going away hymn and stuff like that. So it was a whole bit about a Donald Trump funeral. And I actually got a standing ovation. So I was like, wow. And then the next couple of times, nobody said nothing. Like,
Yep.
I said nothing. Like it was one dude actually out of all of the silence, he did like this. Hey, can somebody come get him? I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, all right.
Come get your boy.
Yeah, go get your boy, man. Whose man's is this? So, but it was my first time doing it. It was great. But the next couple of times, oof, it was a struggle. But it just built a resolve inside of me to keep going.
Excellent. Ashley?
What's my what was
Your
my
first
first day
time
of
with the
comedy?
mic on that stage, tapping it? Is this thing on?
Yeah, me doing it was a long time of preparation, of writing, of daily writing, which I still do, and I just feel like it's something I have to do. So I was and I watched so much comedy, and I listened to so many like biographies and things like that. And those are really helpful when you hear that people haven't done well. You just go, all right, you go to the next thing. There's a comedian in England, her name's Sarah Millican, and she has something called Millikan's Law, which means no matter how good or bad a gig went, you can only think about it until 11 a.m. the next day. Then you got to let it go and move on to the next thing, because otherwise, you obsess about it. My first time was not like, it was fine. I was more long-winded than I would like to have been. And I think I told a joke about my grandma watching the Kardashians and asking me about some of the terminology that they use that the American Legion might not appreciate me repeating. But yeah, and then I knew that I was going to do it. I knew that how I was going to do it and how often I was going to do it, and have continued down that path as soon as I was able to get the opportunity, because I didn't have it for so long and wanted to have it. So
it wasn't a bet.
Was not a bet. It was more like, if I don't do this, I'm going to cause trouble in every restaurant and meeting that I go to. I would go to spouses club meetings, and I would just be, harassing everybody. Like, these prim and proper ladies that take it all seriously were not ready for me to come in and roast them about how they wanted to take me planting succulents, like it wasn't, they weren't ready.
Succulent.
Okay. Robin, your first time grabbing that mic.
Yeah. I did some ad hoc comedy while I was still in the Army, but I won't count that. The first time I did an open mic where I said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go up there. Now, if you don't know how open mics run, you get a bunch of comedians, they sign up on a list, and then the producer of the open mic will run a show. Well, I was new. It was my first time. So they put me all the way at the end, which is typical for newbies. And so you have to sit through about 2 hours of other comedians doing their sets. And it's a long 2 hours. And then you go up there and you get 3 minutes. In this particular case, I got 3 minutes. So that was a pretty stiff change, right? 2 hours for 3 minutes. And I got up there, I felt pretty comfortable. I didn't really feel nervous, because that's one thing the military does. I think for comedians, we're not as nervous because we've been through a lot, and no one was shooting at me, right? It wasn't having anybody it wasn't in harm's way. So I thought, well, this is really low hanging fruit. It was also just 3 minutes. So yeah, but I felt good about it. I mean, I felt like, but now I watch that back, I still have that video. Terrible. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was awful. Like, I just didn't know what I did.
On YouTube?
No way. No way. I
No?
buried that. I have buried it. Like, no, no way.
No way.
It's just stuff you don't know. Like, you don't know that you're stepping on laughs. You don't know your pacing, your timing. You don't know which way to look in the audience, how to hold the microphone correctly, not to play with the mic cord, to move the mic stand out of the way. There's just a lot of little techniques and protocols that make you a better comic, and that just takes time.
It's so uncomfortable. Like, when you get recorded, Jeff, doing your comedy, it's so uncomfortable. Like, looking back at yourself after you've been doing it, it's like real cringeworthy, which is kind of why I don't have any mirrors in my bedroom. But still, in all, it's just uncomfortable looking back at yourself. You're just like, oh my God, especially the more seasoned you become. So it's just, I definitely can understand where Robin's talking about. It's like, ooh, was I like that? Because in your mind, you're like, oh yeah, I'm good. And then you look back at it, you're like, ooh.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Painful.
All right. Well, we could go on all day, and then we'd have to pay you and tip the servers. So we're gonna have to roll up and get out of here. But I want to make sure that everyone knows it's hilarious, as an HEAL .org, because they are a 501c3, and you can go there and support. And you can also learn about this tour at bestmedicinebrigade.com. And she listed all those cities for you, but if you forgot them, like I have, you can go to the website and figure it out, audition, and one day, Ashley Gutermuth will invite you to Tango Alpha Lima to talk about your grand comedy career, should it become that. And what we're going to do now is Ashley and I are going to huddle up. We're going to talk about you, and you're not going to be here to defend yourself. And we're going to get all of that done right after the break.
The American Legion is raising awareness about PTSD and veteran suicide by offering hope, camaraderie, and support.
Be the one to help end veteran suicide.
The goal of the American Legion's Be the One campaign is to destigmatize asking for mental health support.
Be the one to ask a veteran in your life how they're doing.
Be the one who saves one veteran.
Go to betheone.org and help the American Legion end veteran suicide.
Will you be the one?
And welcome back from that well-deserved break. I hope you had tasty snacks. Did you snap into a Slim Jim? Maybe so. All right. How was hanging out with your funny peeps?
It was great. It's always good to see them. And it's going to be a fun tour this year. We have a lot of cities that we're going to go and do our comedy in, and hopefully they don't chase us out with pitchforks.
Yeah, that'd be really rude.
It'd be rude, but I mean, make for viral content. You got to always look on the bright side.
Oh, you influencers.
Buy my face cream. What can I say?
All right, we're gonna get into this thing that we love to do. And oh yeah, we locked and loaded.
Locked, loaded,
and ready for pew 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 pew. Rapid fire. All right, rapid fire number 1. This is a commentary, Do the Right Thing Hollywood, from legion.org, written by the man speaking. All right, the Oscars have their way of scandalizing into post-show public relations challenges. This year's March 12th ceremony was no different. For some unfathomable reason, they found a way to omit a legendary entertainment icon from the in memoriam part of the program. Vietnam-era Army veteran Paul Sorvino, arguably most famous for starring as Big Paulie in Goodfellas, was in hundreds of movies throughout his career. Sorvino was also successful on stage, being nominated for a Tony Award, and on TV as a cast member of Law & Order. But he was more than just an actor. He was a trained operatic singer, sculptor, author, and businessman, just to name a few of the accomplishments that this Hollywood Post 43 member made him into what his wife, Dee Dee Sorvino, calls a true Renaissance man. Was this a big omission?
I don't know. You know what? When people, here's a little fact about me. I don't really watch anything. I grew up with like really young watching Mel Brooks movies and a lot of British comedy. So I think I've seen Goodfellas, but I would say that anybody who has been in hundreds of movies throughout his career should probably have been involved, you know, in the in memoriam page, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what is the qualifications? Does anybody like open the curtain and like go, hey, who's making these decisions? Is there a checklist? You know, with everything, there's a checklist. There's a checklist and a whim, right? They're back there going, did they win an Oscar? Did they do this? Did they make this person upset? So we want to know who's making these decisions and why. What's the checklist?
I'm not a Hollywood insider.
Oh, you're not? But
No,
you're
no.
commander of Hollywood Post 43.
Yeah, you'd think that meant something. But the answer was, the official answer was, well, we have a committee that does that, and we stand by the committee. So no, the curtain was pointed at, but it definitely was not open. So we hope that will happen. We hope that will happen because of the press of this.
I say bring him back to life.
And give him a talking to.
Bring Paul Sorvino back to life, and then when he dies again, they can rectify this.
Yeah, they got to make it right somehow.
Yeah.
And they have the money. They probably have the money to do it.
They probably have the money to do it.
They probably do. All right. We're going on to rapid fire number pew pew 2. Woman complains about military candles. Owner's daughter is a veteran. This is from insider.com. A customer complained that a candle store's products were making fun of the military, not realizing the shop assistant was a veteran herself. Kikinski, who is daughter of the owner of the candle shop Malicious Women Company, has posted dozens of videos about Karens who come to the store, a nickname given to behave in an irrationally entitled manner. They even have a board in the store where they keep count, which also notes how many days it's been since our last Karen. The latest TikTok, which has been viewed over 470,000 times, was the tale of Karen number 149. Kaczynski explains that a group of people came into the store and they didn't seem like they would be an issue. They appeared to be enjoying the irreverent candle labels, which say things like, "Every great mom says the F word," "Not today, mansplainer," and "F you abortion law," until one member of the group came up to her. This woman, Kaczynski said, thought a certain label was making fun of military veterans. The candle in question is called DD-214, infused with an identity crisis, on the maliciouswomen.com website. It is a reference to the paperwork veterans receive when they are discharged from the military, otherwise known as a certificate of release or discharge from active duty. It's infused with an identity crisis because you spend some time in the military and you get out. It takes a little while to kind of find who you are again because nobody's there telling you who you are, Kaczynski explained.
First of all, I do think that's a funny candle, and I think it's a very poignant candle. But I do disagree a little bit with it takes a little while to find out who you are again because nobody's there telling you who you are. I think it's also, there's like a mix of, it seems to be people trying to find a new sense of purpose. And like we've talked about before, you're in this club for the longest time, and then you're suddenly not allowed in it anymore. And not only do you have to go move out of where you live, you're legally not allowed to live there anymore. In some cases, you're not eligible for certain benefits and things. And then when you go back and everybody's kind of moved on, and it all has to do with, how old you are. Have you aged out of the program, essentially? So I think there's a little more to it than just people yelling at you all the time, telling you what to do. I have a couple things. Okay. I like the candle, and it seems like a funny thing. I don't like when people film people unknowingly. Like I do a lot of filming, and I try my best. I would never, even if somebody was real, I don't know, I would put something over their face probably. But to just put people online like that, because they can get full on really attacked and
they do
just
that,
not
though?
be ready. I don't know. I haven't seen their videos,
I think she makes videos talking about.
Okay, she's just talking about it. Okay, that's fine. That's cool. My other point was, if you have had 149 people that were rude coming into your store, I do think that maybe there's something else going on. That's a lot of really angry people coming in, right? Like, I think if something keeps repeatedly happening to me, who's the common denominator here, right?
Well, I don't think they think it's a problem.
Okay, well, if they like it.
I think they think their irreverence.
Have I worked retail? Holly says, "Oh yeah, I have." Holly, look at this face.
I did. I worked for Sears Brand Central, the brands you want at the store you trust.
At the store you trust. I used to work at a bagel place, and I'm really bad at using knives. I have bad knife skills, and I used to cut my hands all the time when I was cutting people's bagels. We didn't have an automatic slicer, so I just bleed all over their sandwiches. And
protein.
Protein. And I can tell you there's an exact trajectory because it happened to me so many times. It happens, you like slice half your finger off and you're like, oh my God, okay, just give me a minute and I will come back and finish your sandwich. And at first they're just like, oh my God, are you okay? You okay? And then within about 15 seconds, they're like, yeah, I friggin' want my sandwich. I don't care that you have to go to the hospital. Like they're over it. I have gotten into a lot of I've gotten into arguments with people. I've worked at movie theaters. I've had a lot of jobs like that. I used to, when I worked at the bagel place, we'd have different types of coffee. And my favorite thing was to rebrand the coffee. When people would be like, oh, how is that blueberry taste? And I'd say, well, the blueberry coffee tastes like licking a rich older man. And it's amazing I wasn't fired.
You couldn't do that today.
I would, though.
So what's that LaCroix taste like?
Prestige.
Prestige. Bourgeois. It tastes like bourgeois.
I'm too good for water. I need it to be bubbling.
So 149, that's a number.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I'm imagining these women are successful, so maybe 149 is just a teeny tiny number.
I mean, okay, maybe I'll have to go check out their videos. I like, the candles are funny. If your whole, why are these people coming into the store to complain about the products? Just walk out.
Well, why? Remember the comment section we talked about earlier?
Oh, you think those are real life comment sections?
That's what this sounds like.
We don't need
People
those.
brazenly coming up from the basement into the light, walking into the store, and realizing their keyboard warrior dreams.
Their skin burns.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna order this DD214.
It's funny. It's like the DD214 blanket. Have you seen that?
No,
that's cute. They snuggle up with it.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna order this because I want to know what it actually smells like.
My husband, because he's a full-time reservist, has a bunch of DD214s, which I always feel like blows people's minds because you think you only get one, but you can't lose his.
No, and you can get reprints. It's available on Amazon. No, I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go back into rapid fire. Number pew pew pew. That was 3. Homeless Veteran Program, American Legion Post 45. That's in Georgia. Donate. Okay, I'm gonna live kind of grammar check here. All right, Homeless Veterans Program, American Legion Post 45 donates 50th car to veterans in need. This is from where? Legion Town.
Oh,
for my good citizens of Legion Town, I'm very proud of you. 6 years ago, a disabled veteran with a wife, children, and a house contacted me, not me, the author, about this one-time VA vehicle grant due to his 20-year-old truck just quit working. His 100% service-connected VA disability pay was just enough to cover his monthly bills, but he did not have enough left over to afford any new type of vehicle. I immediately reached out to several of the vehicle donation programs, to include the American Legion program. I quickly found out that these programs are not in the business of donating a vehicle to a veteran, but rather were there to help raise funds for other programs. Well, veterans need vehicles, whether disabled, homeless, or with family that cannot afford a vehicle. Life out here in rural Georgia has many advantages, but any access to mass transit is not one of them. In order to get a good job, take your kids to school, and go shopping, you have to own a vehicle. As a result of this, we created the Veteran Vehicle Donation Program, whereby veterans who meet the program criteria do in fact get vehicles. We established simple requirements for attaining one of our donated vehicles, and they are: 1, to be a disabled veteran who is 70% or higher service-connected disabled by the VA. 2, be a female or family with small children who cannot afford to own a vehicle. Or 3, be a homeless veteran who demonstrates the desire and will to win their bout with homelessness and needs a vehicle to get a job that means the difference. And between I'm guessing this is a 7, between a $7 per hour job and lets them get a $20 or higher per hour job. I'm hoping.
Otherwise 70.
I'm hoping the car does not decrease their income by $50 an hour. That would be bad.
That's what you get.
That's what you get. All right.
That was submitted by Thomas M. Brady. Tom Brady of Post
Tom Brady.
45. Had no idea. When he said that was like a
we
Holly.
know Holly. Holly's making sure, because she hates Tom Brady, so she's making sure that we know that it's not that Tom Brady.
No, remember when he said that it was like a deployment? Oh, he
Oh, yeah,
said
you did
when
say
a
it
football
was
was
like
like
a
a deployment.
deployment.
He's joined the Legion, so that's great.
Yes, it's Thomas M. Brady Post 45 in Georgia. No, we
It's-
know that's the joke. We're calling it the Tom Brady Post. It's the GOAT Post.
It's I think that's great that they she's like, no, she will not have it. We will not besmirch.
Where's Mark
Okay.
Seavey when I need him? That's the GOAT Post.
Goat post. I think this is an awesome idea. And I love when people just go, hey, this doesn't exist. I'm going to create it. And then they go and do it.
When you see those things like donate your car to support veterans, do you think that maybe they're fixing them up and giving them to veterans?
No, I think it's a scam.
Oh, you think
I would like to be it's always like, no, it is not a scam. Not this, obviously, but like, when people there's those billboards that are like, donate your boat. And you're just like, where's it going? Or the Legion has this program where you donate your car. That's great. But it's all in the way that it's marketed, right? If you're handed a leaflet where a guy's like, give me your boat or give me your car, and then I'll donate it to a veteran. It's got to be through a sanctioned organization. Like, don't just see a billboard and donate your car and think it's going to go to veterans. Obviously, this
what if
American
the billboard
Legion
has
Post-
my face? Donate your car.
Okay, if underneath it says by the American Legion, then
No.
we know we can trust the American. Okay, it's just donated to Jeff Daly.
Donate it to Jeff Daly.
I'm just saying, make
boat
sure you
first,
know who you're giving it to. Do it with the American Legion. Look at this guy that's got it going on. So definitely.
And also thank you for submitting to Legion Town. I'm telling you, Legion Town is picking up. I was supposed to say
Legion.careasy.com.
Car easy.
Yeah. Mayor.org.
I am mayor.gov. All right. So we've made it through rapid fire. Not super rapidly, but we made it through. Do we have do you have any shout outs?
I have no shout outs except
I have a
to you,
shout out.
as
I have a shout
always.
out to California Legion College, which recently was hosted by guess who?
Who?
Hollywood Post 43. And
Oh, man.
it was kind of cool because National Legion College is, the tip of the training spear. And I took a picture of all the National Legion College alumni that were there. And we had Forward Department of California, our immediate or junior past commander, current commander, and leading candidate to be next commander. So I think we're getting our bang for the buck of National Legion College. There you go.
Awesome.
All right. Since we've now graduated from this episode, you want to take us home?
Yes. Hey, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe to the Tango Alpha Lima podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you consume podcasts. And I want you to just think about this. Think about leaving us a review and then actually go do it and give us a big old 5-star rating. Otherwise, I'll push you down a hill into a mud puddle. I want you to leave 5 stars so the world knows how much you love us. And that's very important to my self-esteem and Jeff's. If you have a guest recommendation, go to legion.org/Tango Alpha Lima and click on the suggest a guest link. I want to know the people that you know, and I want to chat to them and bring out their innermost secrets. I want to look into their soul. I want to find their secrets, and I want to expose them to the world. And I want you to suggest those people.
I agree with you. I want people to suggest super producer Holly. And if we get 20, I'm guessing she'll give in. Yep.
Mhm.
She's
You can hear all about
the
her-
lady doth protest too much.
secrets.
I think she would be overwhelmed with the love that the people have thrown out with her. She'll say, okay. No?
Fine. I think
nope,
I think we
saying
would.
no.
My first question would be, why do you love Tom Brady so much?
That would be a great question. Why does she love Tom Brady so much? And the only way she's going to counter that narrative is by coming on here and speaking her truth. Anyway, Alphas, thank you so much for being with us today. I hope you had a funny, fun time with our comedic guests and my comedic co-host there, and me just kind of following along because it was a good time. And I'm going to go ahead. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to call it. I'm going to call season 4, episode 152, of the American Legion's Tango Alpha Lima podcast. Mission complete.